be prepared to get anything, because I couldn't even guess what you might ask him. So he's all yours.
My name is Ken DeBoer. I've been an attorney in Michigan since 1973. First set foot in this area in 1992. My wife and I purchased a small cottage over on Long Lake by Hale, and so we've been in the area for a little over 20 years. We purchased a home on that same lake, which we are now retiring to in 1999. We just sold our home in Lansing. That's where I've been practicing for the most part. The reason I started to come to Mayo is because I picked up some cases through Judge Root about a year and a half to 2 years ago to have something to do once I retired officially up here. Cassie approached me about 2 months ago and indicated that she had an opportunity that I might be interested in, and we talked quite a bit, and I indicated that I was. And we're actually closing on our house 3 days from now, Friday morning in Lansing. We slept there for the last time, and we are up full-time in Hale on Long Lake. I came over to Mayo quite a few years ago. I saw on the back of Mike's shirt, Northern Power Sports, and I've been buying snowmobiles and selling them through Steve and his brother up there since probably 1995. So I've been coming to Mayo officially as an attorney for a couple of years, and here for some business things and obviously recreational things for a while. And my practice for the most part was a general practice. I did a lot of criminal law on the other side as a defense attorney, but have been working with prosecutors in district court and probate court and neglect matters and very serious felony matters for many, many years. So I'm very familiar with the process and how it works. I'm learning a lot of the ins and outs in terms of just how the judges handle things differently and what they expect. And I've been at it for about a month and a half now. I started at the beginning of April. And that's the little summary. Does anybody have any questions? In the
Very
board?
good. Thank you, Ken.
You're welcome.
Anybody have any questions?
Good luck.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Happy to have you with us.
Thank you.
And Ken is doing a great job. I welcomed him to the light side because he was doing criminal defense, and so far I think he's really enjoying it. So
Yeah.
I look forward to all the benefits we'll receive from having him around. As I said, I have a somewhat more lengthy request or discussion to have with you today in requesting some funds to purchase Cherryland software. I've given you a packet, or actually I gave Brenda a packet to disperse to you, which includes the quotes that I received and all of the basically breakdown of the total purchase amount. I want you to know, and I know you've probably learned this through my previous request and reviewing my budget with me, I try to be as frugal as possible with my budget. The quote that you have, and I think I gave you both copies, one should be X'd out, and I wanted you to see this was the original quote that I got from Cherryland. This was last year when I first started. They gave me a quote of $12,100. Over the past year, I've been dealing with Cherryland, talking with them, negotiating, and right now they're at their bottom line price. They've told me they're not going to go any lower, of $8,900 for exactly the same thing, only they've given me 2 additional licenses. So instead of 3, we're getting 5, and we're getting it for a few $1,000s cheaper. There's 2 options to purchase Cherryland. We can purchase it outright for the $8,900, or in the alternative, we can do a lease to own, and that's at the $204 a month for 5 years. Although, I mean, it's up to you how you want to handle that if you do decide to approve me to purchase the Cherryland. But I would note that you're going to spend over $3,000 more by doing the lease to own. And in discussing this option with my child support specialist from MGT, they're also the ones who are going to be doing the reimbursement rate that Maximus was doing for the whole county. I've had lengthy discussions with them about how much we can get back. We're not going to benefit at all by doing the lease to own as opposed to the purchasing outright. We're going to get reimbursed about the same, so that's not going to have any impact. It's really just how you feel the finances are going to be better managed in having that an outright purchase at the larger amount or spacing that out over 5 years. I can tell you that the rest of the county already uses Cherryland. They purchased the software quite a while ago, and they purchased it at a price that was more than what I'm getting it at. They have implemented Cherryland in several of our departments. They're using it at the clerk's office, I believe. Jerry, it's full on now, right? Yep, for everything. They're already using it at the clerk's office. Front of the court has implemented it full blown. They're doing it 100% now. Circuit court is doing it as well. District court has the software. They were included in the bundle that the county, when the county made that one large purchase, district court was included. They do have the software. They have all the licenses. They had the training come in. They have a scanner, but they haven't implemented it yet. I believe that I've had discussions with district court. They've told me that it's due to a lack of manpower, essentially, to get this implemented. I think that if the prosecutor's office was to implement Cherryland software, that district court would have more pressure and would really need to start doing it, because that's one of the main reasons that I want to get it in our office, is because majority of our transactions and our caseload is with district court. So a lot of the communication that we have is through, well, number one, the Sheriff's Department and other law enforcement agencies, but then we deal a lot with district court. Every single case, whether it goes to circuit or district, starts in district court. So we have a lot of paper shuffling going back and forth. So I would encourage the board to put a little more pressure on district court to get them going as well. And I also have had discussions with Jennifer Hubel, who is the court administrator for district court, and so she knows that I'm requesting this and this will be coming. I believe you're familiar, I'm not going to go on in a lengthy discussion as to what Cherryland is. I think most of you are familiar with what it is. It's an imaging software that would basically eliminate our need to produce physical files. And that's going to be my long-term goal, is to go paperless in our office. It's not going to happen overnight. It might not happen in 1 year, but eventually we don't have to purchase our folders. We don't have to be copying everything 3 times. Right now we get our papers, we make a copy for our file, we make a copy for the defense, another copy goes to district court, and the original copy comes from the Sheriff's Department. So you're looking at 5 copies that have already been made of something that we don't have to print once if we had every department implement this Cherryland software. It's already scanned, you put it into a folder, everybody has it. You don't even need to print it. I can sit in court and have access to, if you've ever seen me, I know Jack has, walking down court with 50 files. Everything would be right on my laptop. You can access every single file in the office, including previous files. So even ones that aren't open, over time, you're going to have an archive of every case that we've handled. And we can access those, which would come in handy when I'm in court. You'd be surprised how often we have re-offenders who come in, and it does come in handy to see, hey, well, they're on probation violation, they've had 3 previous cases, and have all the information at my fingertips instead of saying, you know, Nina, Lisa, go over to the state police building, go in the basement, dig through 15 boxes and find me this file. And that's what we're doing right now. We don't have the space in our office to keep all of them, and we store them in an entirely different building. So to get access is very difficult and time-consuming. And it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time and money for my staff to be doing that. I understand it's a large amount, and you've already gotten me as an assistant. You've been very generous with me this year, but I think now having Ken here is also a perfect time to implement the software, because it has given me more time to focus on getting the office running more efficiently than what I had previously. And to get this software up and going and using it to its full potential is going to take some time. I've had the training come in already this year to start helping my staff and encouraging them to move towards going paperless and using more technology. So we've already taken the first steps, and now that we've gotten this bottom line price from Cherryland, the promise to come in and do training, and the $800 for training, that's to train our entire staff, unlimited. So it's not that they're going to come for 1 day or 2 days, that's unlimited. We can have them come every day if we need them, and they agreed to do that. So, and I warned them that it might be necessary, considering that some of my staff still has typewriters on their desk. But they're willing to do it. And I think that now is a great time to actually implement this. Like I said, because I have the time to focus on it, I have Ken to help me out, my staff is already moving in that direction, and we really need to get district court on board and implementing theirs too, and I think that this would really help give them the push they need.
Question.
Yep.
You know it's coming.
I'm waiting.
All right, the way I've been figuring it out is you're going to pay $8,900 and get that $2,000 a year local maintenance and support. If we went with the $204 a month for 5-year lease to own, does that come with the
No,
local maintenance and support?
No, you still have to pay that $2,000 annually. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. I asked that same question, and you said $2,000 that's a base. You have to pay that to have the maintenance annually. That's not included in this amount.
So we're paying that like 5 times right, or 4 times right now? Each like district court, circuit court program?
Yep, you pay it,
It's
yeah,
$2,000
technically,
per-
and you'd have to ask district court for sure. You know, I try not to dive into their budget so much, but I believe they're paying the county is paying $2,000 for maintenance for them to have Cherryland, and they're not even using it. And I believe that the county's been doing that, because we've had Cherryland, what year, and I can look up, what year did we purchase that? It's been quite a while.
Couple years. It's been a couple years. Maintenance.
Almost exactly, 2012.
Maintenance is always the
And they're
government.
just now starting to get it really implemented and using it. So for the first year, you're paying maintenance really just to have somebody there when you're not even using the
And how
software.
long has district court had Cherryland?
Everybody's had it since 2012,
It was about
except for our
31,000
office.
They paid back then, about 31.
So county paid for it 2 years ago, and they haven't used it yet.
I'm not here to knock district court, as that's not my intention.
I'm just asking questions.
But,
I'm
but,
not knocking anyone.
Well, I
just
know,
wanna
but I don't
we
wanna
paid
knock
for
them.
it, they aren't using it,
Right.
why don't we take it back?
because we want them to use it. I don't, and I thought about that as one option, and I talked to Cherryland, well, if the district isn't using it, maybe we can just switch licensing to our office and we can take their scanner, etc. But then in reevaluating that, I don't want our office to do it, because we want to be able to coordinate using the software with district court. We want them to implement it, not to just get rid of it.
And it would be
There's no
beneficial
point.
to us too, because when something is bound over from district court to circuit court, instead of us getting a stack of paper like this, it would all be in the system already for us.
Right, and for one office to not have this system kind of defeats the purpose for the rest of the county, because it's supposed to work as one unified system. Every office can coordinate. When one doesn't, guess what? We still have to print this stuff off to send it to district court, which is what we're trying to eliminate. We're trying to eliminate that time lag, that paper shuffling, and you'd be shocked. It takes, when I asked at the beginning of the year, in looking at my budget and deciding to ask for another clerical or an assistant, I asked Nina and Lisa to document their time and how long it takes them to do certain things. It takes them over 20 minutes to prepare one file, because they're printing it, they're paper punching it, they're putting the notes page, they're filling in the case number, the name, and you're going to eliminate that. We had over 400 cases last year, 20 minutes by 400 cases. I mean, you're going to have, it's not going to be that full time, because you still have to, some documents we're going to have to scan, which will take a little time, but essentially most of it's going to just be electronic. We could even start having the sheriff's department, sorry, Kevin, but they're getting scanners too, so they're moving in that direction.
We have them.
They got them. Have you used them yet?
Yeah, but for internal stuff, not to send you anything or otherwise, haven't been directed yet, so.
Right, but that's something we can do. I already have the guys, the deputies, emailing me weekend warrants, and I've discussed this with you before, where I sign electronically, get it right back to them. There's no more faxing, no more waiting 7 hours to release somebody because I'm out of town and can't be there to sign it. We're moving into doing everything electronically. It's going to be more cost effective in the long run than not implementing it. And for district court to just give us the licenses, it's going to be more cost effective and more time efficient if they just implement it and you also get the prosecutor's office the same software. And I don't know why we didn't get in on that bundle when it was purchased in 2012. It was my predecessor that opted out of that. They didn't want to do it, and I don't know why, but they weren't real eager in moving towards using advanced technology when I started. I had to really push them and ease them into this. I have a feeling that that's probably why they opted out before. They didn't want to do it. But now I'm making them, so they are, and they're finding that it is easier. They're finding that it's easier for them to process the files, for them to keep track of things, and they're liking it. And I think this software would really, it's a great time to do it, and it would really benefit them insofar as they're going to save a lot of time.
Robert, you had a brief comment.
Actually, I wanted to kind of support her on this thing and give you some facts and stuff on that if possible.
Not at this time. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll talk to you though, because I'd be interested to know that.
Okay,
What
well,
else
it's
do you
just
have?
costs and all that associated that could benefit the county in the long run. So,
I think that it, and like I said, I'm not a fortune teller. I can't say, yes, in 10 years this is what the county is going to save. But other counties have implemented the software a long time ago, and they've seen significant savings. But again, it's a large upfront cost, so you can't expect to get that as a return right away. But I can tell you, as I mentioned before, we do get a portion of that reimbursed through the state, because a portion of that is going to go through the child support section of our office, and we get 25% of 66% of the cost reimbursed. It's not going to be that much, I can tell you, because there's certain things that you can get directly reimbursed for, others that you have to do over, oh, Bill's not here, you get over 2 years. Bill is. So you're familiar with this, right, the reimbursement. So some of it you can get, you just blend in. Some of it you can get back right away. The other part you have to depreciate over X amount of years, and you get it over, what, 2 years? I think the county finally gets it back from 2 years previous. And that's why I hired MGT. They do this. And when I talked with MGT about it, the amount they gave me and what we are going to be getting back as a reimbursement, it's not much, but at least it's something. You're not going to be out completely. The other offices, probate court, district court, etc., you got nothing back. At least through our office, we do some child support, and you're going to get reimbursed for a portion of it. And that amount is $1,040 of the $8,900. So I mean, it's nothing to sneeze at. It's a good amount, but it's not.
Now, family service on the same program?
Family service.
Brian Walker.
The juvenile court, yes, they use it as well. Yep, the family division of the circuit court is also the juvenile.
Circuit court, probate court, and district court.
District has it, but they haven't implemented it.
Yeah, I understand.
The clerk, the circuit court, probate, friend of the court, I think is the one that maybe left out, friend of the court. Every department has implemented it. District court has it, they haven't implemented it. We're the only department that doesn't have it.
What additional staff is going to be required in order to, should we go with this program? Is there any additional staffing that's going to be needed to scan this material, or can it be done on a routine basis with the staff we have?
I'm not requesting any additional staffing. None, because I'm not going to archive all of our old files. If that's something the county decides they want to do with all of their files in the future, that's something I think that the county should hire a firm or somebody, however you decide to do it, to do the county as a whole, not per department. Because to archive all those old files is going to be an insanely difficult task and very time consuming, and it's not something that you want to bog one of the departments down to have them do it themselves. In my opinion, you would want to hire a company to come in and do that for you to archive the old ones, not have your current departments do it, because you're just going to get behind in what you're there to do. You know, if I have my staff scanning massive amount of previous files, they're not focusing on the cases that we have current now, and we can't do that.
So it's a situation where you want to start now and just go forward, and if possible, go backwards, say, get some history. But
Yeah.
you don't anticipate that happening anytime soon.
I can tell you our office won't have the time we won't have the time to go and archive all the old files. You're talking thousands of files. We will not have the time to do it. So what I want to do is implement it now, get the staff familiar with how to use it, because it's new software. If you ever gone from a Mac to a PC or used Adobe instead of some other, you have to learn that whole program. So instead of having them do these massive dumps and archive these old files, I want them to just do it, start with our new cases, not redo work, because that's not saving any time, but start our new cases using this system, and eventually you're going to have it archived, because in 10 years, you're going to have 10 years worth of cases already in it. And if, again, the county wants to go back and do the previous 20 years, I would encourage it. I think it's great, because right now, if we have a fire, what are we going to do? We're out our files, basically, like a lot of other counties, but that is one thing to consider. However, the county should really think about having an outside source come in and do it. Our departments would not have the manpower to do it.
Understood.
Yeah. And I also have turned in a request, in addition to the $8,900 for the software, you do have to have scanners to go into imaging. So we have one scanner in our office. I'm requesting 2. The scanners that the probate court purchased a couple of years ago were, I believe they were almost $800 a piece. they were $995 a piece. The ones that I'm asking to purchase are going for two, and a 2-year warranty on each is $915. It's $416.99 per scanner, and they work, in my opinion, better than the $900 that the other offices have. The one that I have in the office or the ones I'm requesting are the exact same model that I currently am using in my office, and they're the same ones that the Sheriff's Department purchased as well. You ended up buying those ones, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're half the price and they work just as well. And they're compatible with the Cherryland software. I already talked with them, and they can make the scanner work just as well as the others. Do you have any more questions?
I see where it's gonna save money, and I see where it's gonna make your job easier. I also see a pot of money at the end of the rainbow disappearing too.
I understand that. I do. And that's why I said you've been very generous this year in the additional funding,
Can this be put off
but
till next year, or no? I'm sure we wouldn't get the same quote, and it'd probably be more.
probably.
Are you
Yep,
gonna
I'm
be
not
able to
lie.
cover the 2,000, in your budget next year for the support and maintenance?
Yeah.
Because that's gonna be
I
hitting us
think-
every year.
Honestly, I think I could. Because you have to remember too, I'm going to be saving in other areas if we move to this. We're not going to need as many office supplies. We'll be more digital. We're not going to need as many, the current trainings that we have. You appropriated, I believe it's $2,000 for the training to get up to date in technology, so that can be severed. There's areas that I would be able to cut after we implement the system. So I don't believe that I would need the additional $2,000. And I actually have, this year's budget, I've been saving in some other areas in anticipation of getting this software, hopefully, so that our office can buy a laptop as well. Because, like I said, it'd be helpful for me to be able to sit in court. I'm not asking for you to buy that for me because I've been kind of saving from other areas of the budget. And I'm going to be, if I get approved, asking for a transfer of funds from one of my line items to another to purchase that laptop.
And another thing that makes me want to go with this deal is the fact that 2 years ago, district court kind of muscled the county into buying this stuff, and then they aren't using it. And if this is a way to force them to use what we bought them in the first place, it just irritates me that we spent money and then they put it on a shelf, in essence.
Yeah, Judge Rutt was the main person behind this, to bring this forward back in, a couple years back. And I want to say, I'm not sure if District Court was even on board back then. It was kind of like one of those future things for them, but I agree with you.
2 years is...
Why are we paying for something that they're not implementing?
And plus, if we have the training staff from Cherryland here to get our office up and running, I'm confident that they would do the same for District Court again, come in and do the
This
same.
would force them then?
I don't like to use the word for. It would encourage them. It would
like
firmly
where you
encourage
use the word force.
them to start using it. As I can't force them to do anything, but I believe that if we were doing it at the same time in a unified fashion, that they would be more likely to follow through and actually implement it. And I want to go back to your question just briefly, Mark, in that, can this wait till next year? Of course. Can it wait 10 more years? Yeah. We can do this at any point in time, but you have to also remember, I serve a 4-year term. So, and it is something to consider, because I even thought about this, should I wait, should I plan this? But to get this implemented and to get it going, you don't want to purchase this in my 3rd year and then not get it time. Because nothing's guaranteed. If I'm not there, I want to make sure it's already implemented fully so that the next person who walks in can just walk in and do it. They don't need to recreate the wheel or be halfway through implementing this process and then have the same thing happen with District Court where it sits and it doesn't get used.
You're going to guarantee me you're going to use it. I want it in writing.
I can draft that. Yeah, I wouldn't be asking for it. If I didn't want to do it, I wouldn't be asking for it. This
Well,
isn't
I'll
like
tell
buying
you
a new
what, I
pair of
don't
shoes. It
decide
doesn't
these
just look
things
nice.
on
This is
myself.
something I think we could really use.
Cassie, you know that. I don't decide them on myself. And when I came in here, I thought, no, I'm not going to do this. But I see your point. And to force people to encourage people to
Strongly
use this
encourage.
other equipment that's just sitting there, I will make the motion. I'll make a motion to purchase Cherryland software in the amount of $8,900 as proposed on the equipment order agreement for the prosecuting attorney's office. Funds would be to move from contingency to government admin, 115 expense line 101-115-819.00, and so amend the 2014 budget.
Do I hear support?
I'll support.
Motion by Gratner, supported by Christenberry. Any further discussion? Robert, do you have a brief comment you want to make on this?
I mean, the big thing about it, the first thing, office supplies. I mean, do you have an idea how much office supplies you spend outside of this software? I mean,
Well, that's what I was thinking.
that
Folders,
really
paper
adds up when
clips,
you don't look at it, and
even
adds up
copy
pretty quick.
prices, the ink and all that.
And also having it in more location than one place. I mean, you're printing it out. Where are you storing it? So I mean, if something does happen, there goes your data. So, and we're moving towards a world with technology, and we're still doing stuff that's years behind here. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
why aren't we pushing?
And we may save a workman's comp case for him carrying all this heavy load of paper back and forth.
Well,
To
she's
answer
only
that,
thrown her back out 3 times.
Okay, well, she's got plenty of vertebrae.
to answer that, our budget for office supplies this year is $1,700, and if you recall, when we did our budget meeting, that was down from over $2,000. That was appropriate the year before. So you're looking at, I would say, average $2,000.
Well,
a
I
year.
said, slowly but surely, we're all gonna be dragged in the technology age. And it is faster and more efficient.
Okay, I want to call for a roll call. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Gretner?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kushner?
Yes.
Commissioner Warner?
Yes.
And Commissioner Christenberry? Yes.
Thank you.
You did it again.
Question, did that include, and I apologize, did that include the scanners, or?
No, I was just gonna say, now you need the scanners to
Probably, it is necessary to have.
I
Do
know.
you have an iPhone?
I do, yeah.
2,000 hours you saved us.
That's only, what is it,
915-64.
915-64?
Start a laptop. I recommend one of these because I get all my documents through here. I can do everything I need to through this. I mean, it's a lot more efficient than a laptop. That's just one thing I could recommend.
I'll talk to you about it.
I
We'll see.
need to, all right, I'll make a motion to purchase 2 scanners in the amount of $915.64 for the prosecuting attorney's office. Funds are to be moved from contingency to prosecuting attorney 229, expense line 101-229-775.00, and so amend 2014 budget.
I'll support.
Motion by Wilson.
Yeah, no.
Milson. I'll get there.
A little hot in here
You
today.
heard the motion, you heard the
I
second.
started it, it was the orange.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kushner?
Yes.
Commissioner Warner?
Yes.
Commissioner Christenberry? Yes. And Commissioner Gretner?
Yes.
Thank you. Anytime, Mark, you want to come and check out that software?
I just want to hear, I want to see it in writing, Cassie, and I want to see district court using their, make them use
I'll
it.
go break the news to him right now.
Good.
Thank you.
Strongly encouraged.
Take it away.
Okay, old business. Update of the BOC bylaws, add consent agenda to the bylaws and to add the ethics policy. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to amend the Oscoda County Board of Commissioners bylaws adopted January the 7th, 2014 by adding the consented agenda to Article 2, the conduct of board meetings, Section 2.4 and 2.6, and adding an Appendix A, the Oscoda County Board of Commissioner ethics policy. to the current bylaws.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Christenberry, supported by Grantner. Any discussion?
Yes. I don't think it's right to only put this burden on just the commissioner. It should be all elected officials, all department heads should have to follow the same rules and same regulations. You're kind of singling us out. And I don't never remember this coming through the board of any discussion of a code of ethics for our board. And I don't know where the money come from to pay for this, because it was not approved by us. I just can't figure where it come from, who wanted it, and why it's here, why it's not including all of the people. Why are just the board members being singled out?
Because it's our bylaws.
It's not in our bylaws yet. You're trying to put it in.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, you're trying to put
We
it in the
feel
bylaws.
it's a necessary item, and therefore,
If you took time and read Macomb County, they ran into problems. They end up having to put all of them on there.
I have not read it, so
There was a discrimination problem.
I don't believe it's discriminating at all that we're holding ourselves to a higher standard.
Why can't we hold everybody to the same standard? They can do the same thing that we can do.
Down the road, we might do that.
I think we ought to do it now and get it over with. I don't see why you're postponing something like this.
I'm not postponing it, you are.
No,
You're
I'm-
asking to postpone a motion that's on the floor.
I want a motion to include everybody. And if it has to be tabled and rewrote, it should be.
I'm gonna call for a vote.
I mean, it's our bylaws, Larry, it's nobody else's.
It should be everybody. It should be countywide.
Well, then I suggest you put it together at a future date. But right now, this is the item that's on the floor. We have a motion, we have a second. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Kushner,
Yes.
Commissioner Warner,
Yes.
Commissioner Christenberry,
Yes.
Commissioner Grantner,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson.
No. Motion passed. New business, part-time animal control officer.
Want me to go?
Go.
All right. We received 4 applicants interested in the animal control officer position. I met with Commissioner Wilson and Undersheriff, excuse me, Kevin, Sheriff Grace.
I was there.
I was
I'm
thinking,
the guy over there.
I was thinking of the guy who helped me with the interview. Anyhow, we reviewed the applications. Larry was absent on the interview date, so Sheriff Porshneski,
Undersheriff, yep.
or is that good?
Poke Chemnitsky.
All right, Sheriff.
We'll go with Poke.
All right, I'll go with Pope. We conducted the interviews, we kind of narrowed it down to 2. Then I did some background checks and some references, and it's my recommendation, and I talked to Kevin and to Ed, that we hire Andrew Thompson as the animal control officer. And if you have any questions, I mean, I've got my notes and everything. But he seemed to be the best candidate.
I will make a motion to hire Andrew Thompson as Oscoda County Animal Control Officer as a non-union regular part-time with a flexible schedule up to 28 hours per week at $10.60 per hour effective May 19, 2014.
Do I hear support?
I'll support.
Motion by Wilson, supported by
Before we
Christenberry.
vote, I just wanted to let everybody know too, I talked to Roscommon, and I talked to the person that Rex did his orientation training with, Dee Dee. She said she doesn't think it would be a problem. I still haven't got a hold of their head guy. He was supposed to, I'm going to talk to him this afternoon. I don't think it'll be a problem that they help train our guy, and I know Rex mentioned that he was going to help too. So as soon as I find out more information, I'll let everybody know.
This is the guy that we gotta get a CD, see what was put
Does he
in.
have a CDL?
No, we gotta get one for him?
He'll get one.
Okay.
I think he's already been to Kevin to see it. Hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he's picked up the packet.
Yep.
And he was looking into the training.
Yeah, Dave does that, so.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Oscoda County credit card policy discussion. The only thing I have on this is the area that I had a problem with was limiting it to 2 people from the finance committee signing the request form. And a suggestion was made, and I think it might not be a bad suggestion, to go along with Bill. And his request is to have any member of the Board of Commissioners sign this form. And if there's any other areas of this that you would like to discuss, we do not have to vote on it today. We do not need to do that. So does anyone else have any areas that they're concerned with or would like to address at this time?
I agree with you though, it should be any 2 that's available. I do agree on that part.
I'm not saying 2, I'm saying 1 signature from any member of the Board of Commissioners, not 2.
Well, you don't want to include Bill though.
Well, yeah, Bill naturally,
He'd be one.
but I'm saying any one of the 5 of us, instead of just the 2 members
Right.
of the Finance Committee. And the reason for that is that they're both out of town, if they're both unavailable, and we have the other 3 that could possibly do it. How does that work for you, Bill?
But you can't take a vacation. You're not allowed on vacation.
Are you gonna put in there designee or otherwise? I mean, obviously, we've been able to go over there and get it even from, usually from Audrey if she's in, if Bill's on vacation. Have we taken that in consideration? The other one I would say is, you know, could you do some type of a phone, email response approving that purchase? Because the only thing I see is that sometimes if you're, you know, online or going to be able to get online, or you have a training or otherwise, you may have a deadline of some sort that needs to be met. And, you know, just to be able to come up with something that isn't going to tie everybody's hands too much, I guess that's my only thought.
I think that's probably one of the things we're trying to eliminate.
Okay. But if, as a department
Just
head,
having quick access to it.
okay,
It was brought to my attention that there is abuse
okay,
that is being overused. And that's why we want to make it a little more difficult, shall we say.
okay.
And I understand somebody would like their own credit card. Is that true?
I've kicked that around, and I may on that, just because being a department head, obviously I submit my bills, I submit my funding, I know what I have in that funding. Obviously it's different than probably some of the other agencies, but as far as on the department head side, that was one question that I had, is I probably will look into that, only for the mere fact that we have 1 credit card for the whole county.
Right.
It sometimes gets a little cumbersome if 2 people are at training. I mean, you generally go there, you know, and you can pay for many of the different items on a credit card. You have the receipt, you can come back and file those with the clerk's office to make sure that the proper funding is done from that part there. I understand the abuse part, I don't have any problems with any of that, but there are some things that, you know, sometimes having 1 or 2 available might be a little easier.
Well, I think we need to table this and do a little more discussion about it individually. You bring a good point up, if Bill's out of the office, should we designate Audrey also, or?
Well, that was my intent all along.
Yeah.
Somebody from the board is authorizing use of the card. Anybody in my office then can hand that card out by them signing off. We're not authorizing somebody being able to use the card, you are.
Sure, because if I have the funds in my account, once I get whatever authorization is deemed necessary, I'm just going to bill as basically the keeper of the credit card on the finance end of it, to be able to get that so I can use that for whatever the purchase that I need to make.
Okay. You clear on that?
We're tabling it.
We?
We. further before you guys can do some further
Okay.
investigation on it.
In 2 weeks, we will make a decision on that. Okay, Bill?
Okay.
Meantime, continue as we've been doing. First four. Airport liability insurance. We have 2 quotes. Lee, would you like to take the lead on this?
Yes, we had a quote from Piper McCready, which was $3,450 for the year. And we also have a quote from Assurance. And we can get the Assurance a lot cheaper. The total premium would be $1,192 with a 0 deductible. And I think we should go with them compared to the $3,450 that we had been using Piper McCready.
I'm looking at the gold and the print and the platinum packages. I'm seeing really, we don't really need control power contingent or baggage liability. Is that why you're not looking at the gold package?
We don't have control.
The only question I had was, if I saw in an asterisk down there, a 3-year policy available. Would, that might be wise to lock into a 3-year at the rate this low, or could we get it lower if we went with a 3-year policy available?
I think this is the first year that they're actually making that available.
So I just wondered, would that be at the same price, or would they knock a little bit off the price if we went with a 3-year?
I'm thinking that, I mean, I wouldn't know that answer, but,
I
it just seems like.
I just saw that
that's what
just now, I saw the asterisk and looked down
That's
there.
what Mr. McCready had said when he stopped in, that was new this year, that they were offering the 3-year packaging at the rate.
It just seems like, we know nothing goes down, so if we lock in, at least we'd be locked in for the same price for 3 years.
And I think Assurance offers the 3-year too, don't they?
Yeah, they did.
That's what I was talking about, insurance,
Yes.
or insurance.
Yeah.
Just a question. But I'll go along with going with the insurance.
With the silver package?
Yeah.
You want to put a stipulation on there to approve going with them with the idea that we will also check the
3-year plan?
3-year plan?
Okay.
Yes, sounds good.
Oh. So you want me to make that motion?
If you want.
Okay. I'll make a motion to accept the quote and authorize the immediate payment upon receipt of the invoice for the Oscoda County Dennis Kaufman Memorial Airport Liability Insurance from, is that Assurance? In the amount of $1,192 for the annual premium May 14th through 2014 through May 14th, 2015. And how would you word that?
I just got with the option to sign a 3-year plan.
Okay, with the option to sign a 3-year plan.
I'll support.
Have a motion by Grantner, supported by Kustenberry. Any discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Kustenberry,
Yes.
Commissioner Grantner,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kushner,
Yes.
Commissioner Burns.
Yes. Correspondence, reports, and resolutions. We have one from the American Legion. Mr. Olson, it's addressed to you.
This memo is to inform authorize that Liz Cunningham will be working for Oscoda County Veterans Office every Friday beginning April 25th, 2014 to assist in the training of the new county veteran constable. The service will be at no cost to your county. If you should have any questions, contact the Veterans Oscoda County, please. The thing of this was, we were paying Liz through Ross Common 1 day a week to be here. Now we no longer pay her. We're getting her free from the American Legion that she now works for in Detroit. And we will be getting a bonus in 2 weeks. She will be here Thursday and Fridays. So we're going to be getting her 2 other days of work with Susan to train her for taking over. And Wednesday will still be Trust Fund Day. And every second and fourth, I'm not sure, I just heard Pat Klein might not be here to help people on Tuesday. He might be here on Thursday. I've got to check into that. But this is just a memo that she's going to be here, no more paying the county any money.
So Ross Common lost her?
Yep.
So now they're looking for one.
They just hired a guy, but she had set up that she would work there Thursday free, and work here free, and her boss was picking up pay, and they got upset, and they don't want her there no more, period.
So now she's working for the American Legion.
Right, in Detroit.
Good for
In
her.
due time, she'll be coming back up here and being like the route manager up here after we get Susan trained. She'll be taking Pat Kine's place, because I heard Pat might be moving to the UP more, where he comes from.
Interesting.
Another item in your packet is the breakdown of our budget items. I don't think we need to have any discussion on that. It's just an FYI for everybody to take a look at. Just so that you keep an eye on any budgets that happen to be going out of kilter, like the prosecutor's office.
I don't know about this, it does.
Is it public comment yet?
Not yet. Hold that.
Committee reports. Mr. Berger.
I met with the EDA, North Michigan Substance Abuse on May 5th. They went over some programs, but they're cutting them now, and it sounds like they're going to disband the director board. So I'm not sure, I got to do some follow-up with them, but it sounds like they're going to eliminate our board from all the counties. And they're going to revamp. So that's something I got to check into. Yeah. So that was interesting. Then I attended on 5/5 park board meeting. There's a resignation of Glenn Giles. He's retiring. He's getting off the park board meeting. He does have some medical issues, so that was part of the problem.
You've been there a long time.
Yeah, he's been there a long time. They are so now replacing county old park truck, and they are going to get the old AC animal control truck. The old one with the new one that we just got now. They're going to get the old one and give it back to the county, that park.
You ever beat up red one?
That's a little weird. Which one was that, Kevin?
I thought it was the old one.
It was one prior to the one that.
Yeah, they had the white one that was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
what
that's
it
given, now going to be, apparently it's back to Rod's, but he's giving it to the county park.
was. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about that.
Right. And then
Apparently
they
Jack
have.
didn't either.
Say what?
Thank you.
Then they have a tree program, planting tree program going on down at the county park, like in the memorial for any family members going on. And they're gonna, whatever comes up, they're gonna plant the tree and put like a headstone on it.
They put a price on it?
They have $250 price for everything, the tree, the headstone, and everything. and they can plan it wherever they want to plan it, and it's a family issue, whatever they want to do. Other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Mr. Wilson. 423 to LEPT, LPT board. We talked about water. Wow, we went through so much stuff. We went over to the review of the 302 site plan. Water went over the roads. We went with our emergency plan. Kevin, there to direct. Did you direct traffic over that road or just put barricades up?
I think the road commission put barricades up.
Yeah, I think it was, but that was one of our new things that worked out real great. The hazmat, did you find anything up with your training? You still in the hazmat?
No, we're still working on that with Roscommon, and we did work with Saginaw, Bay City, Midland. We did some training up here.
Okay, the FY12, the status now is $16,314 we've been given. I guess we've got most of that spent already for allocation. FY13 is only $14,029.15. We're dropping every year on that money. 428, Bob, Kevin, and I went over the applications a little bit, and they continued with it. 5-1, meeting with Roscommon. I went over there and had a meeting with Roscommon, Kevin Melvin, and Rick Anderson. They wanted to start, they were thinking about starting a three-column group like we had with Roscommon and Mile. But Roscommon right now is not ready for it. It's just something on the back burner. We're going to see what happens. And they did hire a gentleman to take over Liz's place. Veteran Board, we had one application we approved for $424 for a guy for gas. He had a shut-off notice. Let me see, 5-5 Clinton Township. They went over, they paid their bills like usual. Okay. They rented the two downtown little gray buildings for 4 months at $25 a month. So they're not going to be planning on moving them like they were thinking about. Let me see. They did get a grant for the campground. I'm not sure what that was all about, but they did get an approved grant that to fund that campground they're working on behind the new, what do they call that new center, the Skyline. Used to be Michigan Magazine. 5-8, I went to the American Legion, me and Susan, and we talked about the millage. They said they would give us help for the veterans millage. They're going to buy some signs and give us a lot of support. 5-9, MOA landfill. First quarter, monitoring report, water ground was great. We only had a little problem with iron. The evaporator system, we have saved $285,521. We only paid $185, so we are really in the good on that. Better not mention about building yet. Let's see if we're 5-9, claims and audits. Last night went to the MTA meeting. Matt Dwayne, is that his name? Denine. He was there, guest speaker for the board. He talked about drugs and stuff. He's a sting operator and told us a lot about how they're going back and forth in counties. It was a great experience, but a lot on drugs. Jason Beck was there and talked about his mileage, and that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. April 23rd, I was at the LPT, LEPC, where I hit on that. I did the ambulance department budget review on April 24th, the landfill meeting on April 25th, which, that meeting, nothing happened. It was a pretty quick meeting. April 30th, the the staff appreciation lunch at the community center. Judge Root and, what's Peggy's last name?
Wysocki.
Wysocki, thank you. And they put it on, and we honored about 20 of the staff and department heads at that get-together. May 6, 2014 started, the road commission started their summer hours, 4:10s. And they had a lengthy discussion on road projects and summer employee hiring. And it was also a public meeting to abandon Van Leuven Drive. If you know where that's at, off McKinley Road. There's a landlocked piece of property there that at the time they moved McKinley Road, there was a snafu there, and the section that gave the guy access to his property was never officially abandoned, so now they've taken care of that. And that's what the public meeting was all about. May 8th, I had a grievance with Bill Laney, United Steelworkers Union. On May 9th, landfill meeting. Larry's already reported on that. May 12th, Council on Aging. And like everywhere else, food costs and in-home services are taxing the budget. And it's good the Council on Aging is able to help those in need, and that the good people of Oscoda County recognize that need when they approve the millage. But Mark is working very diligently to keep that under control. And that's it for me. Thank you. Lee?
April the 24th, we met with the ambulance director regarding the budget. April the 28th, I had a health department meeting in West Branch. Deb Bauman, her last day was the April 16th, and Denise is posting her position to fill. They have new renters for the empty spot where the dental office was. They received a grant for $200,000 grant to conduct a survey pertaining to the assessment of the community needs. They also had a rankings in the county health. Oscoda County ranked 77. Montmorency was 64. Alpena was 74. And Roscommon County was 71. Doug Getty also reported on the food service license. On May the 5th, I went to the Clinton Township meeting also, and they discussed the campgrounds that they're going to be building, and the claims and audits, and that's it.
Thank you. Mark?
Okay, on 428, I was at District Health. Lee touched on that. I do want to say they won an appeals on a cost report payback and saved the health department about $92,000. And she also saved some money on an AT&T bill that they were billing they canceled, and they billed for 2 more months, and she came back and showed them all the emails. And what was it, $8,000 or $9,000 that she saved on that?
Yes.
Anyhow, I think the new director at District Health, kudos to her. I think she's doing a real good job. I think finally District Health might be off front page for a while. On 428, we went over applications with Larry and Sheriff Grace. Also on 428, I was at Asaba Valley Community Mental Health. They're having some problems again with their software. They had a complaint from a consumer, and we went over their audit. On May the 5th, we had the animal control officer interviews. And then on 5/9, I was at NEMSCA and looked for a letter of support from them for the senior corp programs. Feds want to change the structure. Head Start at its peer review. Food programs have the same funding as last year, but over 700 people in our region, not just Oscoda County, but Northeast Michigan, are on a waiting list. They had a fuel assistance program in Oscoda County. The residents in our county received $26,580. There are still funds left for deliverable fuel, but not much for the metered gas and fuel. there are local organizations such as church, but the three main help types for utilities are NEMSCA, the Salvation Army, and True North. And this was a new group. True North has taken about 6 to 8 weeks on turnaround time. So if you had a power shut off, they're making you wait 6 to 8 weeks before they get back with you.
We were just told True North ran out of money at the Veterans Office Friday.
Well, I don't know if they ran out of money, but they're holding back on the applications.
Right.
You know, maybe they're banking on that. But what the problem they're having is True North's taking such a long turnaround time. NEMSCA's held to like 10 days. And if you apply to Salvation Army or True North, then NEMSCA can't help you, and you gotta go back and cancel your report. Anyhow, Beth Storm runs this program. She says she takes about 240 phone calls a day. She spends her morning doing applications and her afternoons working, answering calls. Their weatherization program, where they help low-income residents say they need a roof or new hot water heater, it's a 2-year waiting list. So if you want to get on that, better get on it now. And that's it.
Thank you.
Oh, how's our audit coming? Speaking of audits.
Jim is not in my office, he's gonna be doing departments, and probably be another 30 days before he's ready to actually present the audit.
Okay. Things looking good?
Yes.
Okay.
One announcement that Bob Matson's not here, so I'll read it. The Economic Development Alliance for Oscoda County, tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Oscoda County Connect Continental Breakfast. The May gathering will be Dr. Thomas Quinn, President, Kirtland Community College, explaining upcoming plans at the college. Those of you who have a desire to be there at the Sable River Restaurant, 7:30 tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock program. And I'll open it up for public comment at this time. Susan?
Okay. I'm Susan Shantz, member of the EDA and coordinator of the Timberland Quilt Trail. The EDA was invited by MDOT at the Monroe Welcome Center down in Monroe, Michigan. It's on northbound I-75. We've been invited to come down there and promote our quilt trail. So we're going to have a two-day event, July 11 and 12. And we're going to have activities for kids, we're going to have quilts, we're going to have barn blocks, we're going to have all sorts of stuff promoting Oscoda County and our quilt trail. So
That's at the Monroe Welcome Center?
At the Monroe Welcome Center. They get 1.2 million visitors a year. Wow. And I'm going to grab us some and get them to come up here, and we're going to have all kinds of activities for them and just show them what a great place Oscoda County is. So we're real excited about that.
Very good. Thank you, Susan.
About her kidnapping people down there.
Yeah. Out of my jurisdiction, so.
No problem.
Any other public comment?
Go ahead.
Robert?
Oh, I'm gonna be probably a minute, so I mean, if you wanna.
Mine will be much bigger than that. Our Take Back Drug Day over at the Sheriff's Office that we do over the 6-month period with the Red Barrel. Yeah, it was very successful. We took in 24 pounds of medication, pill form. And
2 pounds short, huh?
What's that?
2 pounds short.
Of the last one we had, but I was actually very pleased. Like I say, the last one, I think we're getting some of the hoarded medications that are out there off the streets now.
Good.
Obviously, I think it's just now, you know, if someone passes away or somebody gets a different prescription or otherwise, and it gives them the avenues that we don't just have it on one day, they can come in 24/7. So it's been very successful.
Thank you, Kevin.
What size of bag would that be? 24 pounds of pills?
I sat it on a chair like this, and it was kind of rolling over the edges there and about yay high. It was, I'm going to say probably this big by about that much as far as medication. Yeah, there's a bag inside, and we take that out, we weigh it, and then the DEA comes. Usually we ended it on Sunday, but they came on Monday morning and picked it up. So a lot of pills.
It is. Okay, Robert,
Is it okay if I go up there to speak? It just
you have
easier.
2 minutes.
I like talking.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay.
You want me to time you or no?
Oh, that's okay. Okay, I'm just going over the specifications and stuff like that. I was able to take and see the quote and all that, and quite honestly, I mean, the price is very good, it's right on par. That's not even in question, and they do need to be replaced. But one thing is very, very concerning. I mean, I've got a list, but I really need to talk to Dan on that. But the biggest thing is the backup. I see in this list, all these computers are gonna come with one hard drive. Do you know if you have some sort of a network centralized solution where these are backing up, or are you?
I think Dan he's talking with the other 4 counties that we deal with. 3. Yeah.
Do you guys have the fiber yet?
No.
No.
You don't? Okay. So I guess if you ask any IT professional, the most important part of any computer is your data.
Yeah.
And few of us know, I had 4 hard drives die last month that I worked on, only one was recoverable. One happened to be a very important business, and unfortunately they didn't keep a backup. Guess what happened? Everything's lost. So that is, I guess, one of my biggest concerns is if you guys are doing this.
No, he was working, I think we're working with the other, with part of the court systems on that.
Our accounts payable, general ledger and payroll is all backed up into the iCloud.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are doing it
And
online.
our other,
And then 3 servers for all the backups daily.
Okay, well, I mean, that's exactly what I wanted to ask for. As far as the other stuff, I mean, there's no CPU on there, what you guys are getting out of that. I'm sure you're going to get the latest, and it's going to be fine. Some of the software, like your Office 2013, Microsoft has many different variations, and some things are better than others, but I'd like to speak on Dan with that, if I could. And other than that, I mean, I guess the big thing is finding out. I find out about these IT projects and stuff like that, and it's like last minute. So I come in here and try to answer questions, and I have absolutely no preparation or even know what's going on until last minute. And I guess that was part of the concern with M3 Access as well before, is we don't know what's going on until it's time to make a vote on it with the board. So I guess that was some of my thing.
Okay, well, you understand for equipment things.
I'm not even concerned about buying the equipment or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
That wasn't my concern when I came in here. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on.
You know, I'm not tooting Oscoda County's horn, but when we were remember Jack, when we were at that court meeting, and we were talking with all those IT guys, and they mentioned Oscoda County out of the Elkona and Iosco. We utilize technology more than anybody. I mean, for a little podunk county, we're beating Oscoda, or Iosco, all the heck.
Well, that's a good thing.
You know, well, it is a good thing.
And that's
You know, and it just amazed me that, I mean, there's these other counties that have bigger budgets than we do and, you know, more population, but yet we're kind of in the forefront, even though we're 10 miles behind. You know.
I mean, there's some other questions, but I guess that is one of the more important ones. So,
like I said, you know, I mentioned to you, I forgot completely about our meeting, and we've been busy, but Jack and I think we could schedule a meeting where we can sit down and talk about that.
okay, I appreciate that.
Okay.
So,
Very good. Thank you,
I'm
Rob.
going to follow up on with Rob. I've noticed this past year you're having a number of projects, high-tech projects, without public bids. I estimate that if you had gone with a public bid, you could have probably saved the county $13,000.
From what?
From going with public bids. You've gone with the barest minimum to avoid a bid, and yet still, there was a couple projects actually that you didn't even offer a bid. The web design project.
I guess I had a concern about that as well. Is I think you guys hired a web designer or something like that for what was the price? $4,000.
$4,000.
What is, if I may ask, what is your bidding? What's the county's bidding policy?
3 quotes.
Well, I mean, at what price or stipulation is there before?
$5,000.
5,000? Okay. So,
Very good, thank you for your input, thank you.
I'm
Robert.
not finished. There is the issue with merit, that wasn't offered as a public bid. Yes, it wasn't.
What do you mean?
The merit fiber cable project, that wasn't offered as a public bid, that was just, they were given that bid.
That bid was done way before this board ever took
I've
office.
talked to members of that previous board, and they know nothing about it.
They all signed the contracts to start with.
And they still don't know anything about it.
That's fine. We appreciate your comment. Next.
No, I don't really want to make.
Anyone like to make a
Motion to adjourn, this,
support?
she won't talk.
We have a lot of support for that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.